Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. This is our WWE show for the week. My name is George Coles and this is my mist-blowing partner Tajiri.
Sorry there, William Regal. Gary Rhodes, everybody.
And the first thing we're going to talk about is the first thing of the night. Vicky and Paul Heyman walk down in the ring hand in hand. Basically they have a common enemy in The Rock.
I've been looking for these two finally to get along because I like it when the heels do get along.
And it didn't make sense for Vicky to not get along with another heel. Kind of like it doesn't make sense with her not getting along with Ziggler, although we understand that for storyline reasons. But if she's a heel, she should be for the heels, including CM Punk. They do their little spiel, show highlights from the Rock concert. Basically, the end game on it is the Rock is kicked out of the building for the night, which they go to the back and three police are talking to the Rock. Rock does his spiel. Rock says to the one cop, "You can arrest CM Punk because like Manti Te'o doesn't have a girlfriend, has an invisible girlfriend. CM Punk has invisible nuts."
Boom, boom.
Same spiel he's been doing forever. And I wanted to bring this up to you. Like last year when he was doing this spiel against John Cena, it didn't feel the way it feels now. Now it feels dated to me.
Two different animals. You're talking about John Cena, which is company made. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's Vince's prototype. Against John, or against
you call him that. That was his.
Exactly. Well, he lived up to his name. Against CM Punk, which is his own man. Man that cuts promos just as legendary as Stone Cold or as The Rock did back when he was relevant.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on The Rock. I like The Rock. But right now, the right man should go over, which I doubt will happen, is CM Punk. You will let CM Punk get over on The Rock.
We'll talk about that.
I'm just saying.
We'll talk about that on our Royal Rumble preview.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying. You asked my opinion on it, and that's what I'm saying. It seems like last year's deal with Cena was like CM Punk is handling The Rock with kid gloves. I guarantee you he could get a lot worse promos.
Exactly. Now, coming off of that, our first match of the night, we had a bet.
All the time. See, doesn't it suck?
Our first match of the night was a Beat the Clock challenge. Basically, if you've seen these in the past, the guy with the quickest win gets to pick his position in the Royal Rumble. The first match of the night was Antonio Cesaro versus Randy Orton. Really, really solid match, well paced. They did a lot of false finishes, a lot of quick pin attempts. I liked how the match went. I liked that Orton didn't squish Cesaro. I liked the fact that Cesaro came in and caught the RKO, which, you know, it doesn't hurt his character to lose to someone of Randy Orton's stature.
No, of course not. This, to me, I don't know about you, but this was the match of the night for me. I enjoy watching Cesaro wrestle. He got his pokes in at Orton. Orton hit his moves. It was a well planned out match.
Yes, and both men came out looking strong, which is the best you can hope for any show, any match actually.
Exactly. You know, you want to keep the fans interested, and I was interested the whole match.
Speaking of shows, the next match was Big Show versus Zack Ryder. Now we have a Zack Ryder appearance on the show, which a lot of fans have been clamoring for. He has a huge following, but they haven't been using him. Now they come out, basically it was a Big Show squash match to show us that Big Show's still a monster.
Ooh,
still someone to be reckoned with. The outcome of it is Show gets the mic afterwards and challenges Alberto Del Rio to a last man standing match at Royal Rumble, which he starts the countdown with the crowd. The crowd keeps wutting him. He leaves at 5. Don't what me.
What?
Exactly.
Drives you nuts.
Exactly. Now, speaking of driving you nuts, we're going to drive our way into the question of the week from last week.
That was the worst segue ever.
What? It's better than anyone you've ever done.
No, I don't think so.
Now, the question of the week last week is, with last week's 20th anniversary of Raw, do you think the lack of guest appearances hurt the show? Now, the first answer we got was from our friend Paul over at the Deadly Sins. He put, The only one that bothered me that wasn't there was Stone Cold, because I love that stunner spot. Otherwise, I think they did good without drowning the show with people weren't going to do anything other than a little cameo spot. I like his mention of Stone Cold. It was a good thought. What do you think, Gary?
It really seemed like a celebration. You know, he did a lot for the 1000th episode, which was pretty damn cool. But you know, you want to see those guys come out. It's just a once in a lifetime. The show hits 20 years solid. You really want to put it out there. I know we have a pay-per-view coming up and stuff. You can still build a pay-per-view. You got a 3-hour show. What I would have done is the first hour, let it be a tribute to Raw's first 20 years, and then from 9 o'clock till 11 be the show.
Well, here's my opinion on it is this. I agree with what Paul said. The reason I think they did it like this, and I read up what the rumors are on the internet, is because they did just do the 1000th episode, and they did do the, bring in heavy, guys that have been influential in the Raw history back. They did the heavy on the 1000th episode, which was like 3 months ago, and I think to do it again that quickly cheapens the 1000th. They did do a highlight reels. I think showcasing the newer talent in the long run is going to do the show better.
Yeah, but having Cena go, I don't know. It just seemed, I wasn't impressed with it. I'm sorry. Wasn't my cup of tea.
Now, coming off of that, our question of the week for this week is basically based on the match that happened before this question and what's been going on with the lack of a push for Zack Ryder. Do you guys think it's time for Zack Ryder to have a heel turn? For him to get angry and show a different side of his character?
You won't like him when he's angry.
He won't turn green?
He's been green for 12 years. I'm just kidding.
But anyway, let us know what you think. If you think it's time for Zack Ryder to have a heel turn, if you think he should stay face, if you think he should just tweak his character. The guy obviously has a following, and he's someone that can potentially put asses in the seats, but they just refuse to put him on TV. Let us know what you think about it. Hit us up on our Facebook. Put it on our Twitter. Put it down where?
Down there.
Down in our comments.
A long one.
Anyway. And we'll talk about that next week. Now, coming from that, our next match was Ryback versus Heath Slater.
Thank God this wasn't a beat the clock match, by the way.
Yeah, it was. It would have been Ryback would have won. It was pretty much a Ryback squash match that Slater had a little bit of offense in the beginning. I kind of feel bad for the guys in 3MB. They're getting to be the brunt of these squashes way too often for my liking.
Now, I did like last week where they did eliminate Sheamus from the over-the-top rope thing, but other than that, you're right, they were getting squashed. I'm getting tired of Ryback squishing guys. I want to see a match. I watch wrestling, not watch a guy beat up another guy.
Exactly.
Non-stop.
It gets old after a while. He needs to have competition, is basically what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after that, we have the reigning, defending World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk comes to the ring to cut his Royal Rumble promo.
What?
Are you excited about something?
No, just go ahead.
And, he does his little spiel, talks about The Rock, how The Rock isn't taking him seriously, how he's, he's the world champion, and that's the most important thing to him, and the most important thing to The Rock is being the people's champion, and the people are the least important thing in the world.
Awesome heel promo. Not a pipe bomb like we, beforehand, but nevertheless, still a great promo.
But we almost had a Paul bomb later.
We'll get to that later on.
I thought it did well. I really like CM Punk is trying his hardest to raise the interest level in this match, working with a part-time wrestler. Rock has been there more often than he was in the Cena feud, which I like about that. But CM Punk, I think, is 75% of this feud, and Rock's 25%.
And, that's the one thing about this feud more than the Cena and the Rock feud is, like you said, the Rock's there a little bit more, but it's only been for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Where we had a year's build up for the Rock Cena. I think people are more interested in this match than it took all year for them to get built up into the Rock Cena. Like I said, it's all commercial made.
Exactly. And our next match of the night was Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz in another Beat the Clock challenge match.
Now, there's one thing I wanted to ask, or wanted to cover with this match here, but we talked about yesterday, is about with Miz's face turn. What do you think? What were you talking about his face, his actual face?
I just can't take the guy seriously. He has a goofy look to him, and it works as a heel. I don't think it works as a face. I think the figure 4 leg lock is a heel finisher. He put it on as bad as any figure 4 leg lock I've ever seen last night.
That was an abortion of moves. I'm sorry to say.
Exactly. I think it's a failed experiment that they need to come back off of quickly. Alberto Del Rio, which was turned around the same time as Miz, is getting over tremendously, and Miz is floundering.
Oh, yes.
And I think it hurts him that he's doing a move that's made for a heel. I think it hurts him that he has, like you were saying, his face, to me, he comes off as a pompous jerk. Just by the way he looks. And now, Miz could be the greatest guy in the world. And I'm not saying he's not. But the thing of it is, he has these looks and mannerisms that make you think of that guy that everybody hated in high school.
Now, the one thing about this match that we're talking about is, when we were watching the match, is Ziggler was well more over with the fans than The Miz was.
Yeah, there was one point where they were going back and forth hitting each other. They were cheering Ziggler and booing Miz.
Now, do you think Miz is going to be like another Cena where Vince don't care, he's just going to keep him face?
I think he has to see the writing on the wall. Miz is not Cena. Miz is nowhere near the draw Cena is. And whether you like him or not, Cena is a draw.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I did like how Ziggler worked the match. I liked him involving AJ Lee. I liked him involving Big E Langston. I mean, I liked how he did it, and Ziggler beats Orton's time to be the leader in the match, in a Beat the Clock challenge up to this point.
And I think that was one of the better matches of the night. Like I said, wasn't the best, but it's up there.
Yeah. Except for the horrible figure 4 leg lock.
That does take a lot away from it.
Yep. I've seen infants do it better.
Well, we're going to the next segment, the anger management graduation. How'd you like that?
I thought it was genius. I liked the capping downs.
Daniel Bryan's hair was the best.
To me, and I didn't mention this to you, but I was thinking about it later. Didn't it look like Daniel Bryan was like one of them guys that got baptized late in life, like how his hair was slicked back and everything?
Yes. He reminds you of, was it Dinner for Schmucks?
Yes.
Dude from The Hangover when he had his hair combed like that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Zach Galifianakis.
there you go. I thought it was very entertaining. These two guys, Kane and Daniel Bryan, are tremendous. Anything you give them, they're going to make gold out of. And they made gold out of this. Even Dr. Shelby got over with the fans. They were chanting Dr. Shelby. I like it. Hopefully Dr. Shelby sticks around maybe as a quasi-manager to him. His character, it wasn't somebody I liked in the beginning, but he seems to be a good catalyst for the dynamic in the group. And speaking of dynamic, we had a Dynamic Divas match.
The Dynamic Dudes?
No, Johnny isn't there anymore.
What's wrong?
And Shane's not coming back.
The franchise. Anyways.
Caitlyn versus Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox.
Fox.
You know, the thing is with Alicia Fox that I don't really get. I mean, she's a great talent.
Yeah.
But they do the same thing as they did a Big Show. And a lot of other wrestlers, they float her from heel to face too often. I didn't know if she was a heel or a face during the match.
Me either. And it was a decent match. There was one point that I really was worried about Alicia when she went for a kick in the corner. It looked like she hyperextended something. And, you know, it was a good match. I wouldn't say it was the best match of the night, but it was definitely a good match. I really like how Caitlyn is progressing as a wrestler. She's a rather young wrestler, so I enjoy seeing her improve week after week. And I think giving her the title is going to make her improve even more so over the next couple years, you're going to see her be a dominant champion.
I got a question for you. Talk about champions. What diva or women's champion beforehand that as soon as they got the women's champion, it just increased them so much better. Their ability rings. I'm going to want Trish Stratus.
Let's see. And I think Caitlyn's someone that's it's gonna build her to be a better wrestler, and you can already see the dividends paying off.
Let's just hope it keeps paying off. And another note to this match, it was a solid match.
Yeah. Next thing we had was the Paul Heyman Paul Bomb, where he came out and he was running down The Rock, which brought out The Rock, who bought a ticket. That's how he got in. However, he came from the back. If he bought the ticket, wouldn't he be in the crowd? Anyway.
Well, George is professional wrestling.
Who needs logic?
Exactly. Just tear that logic away.
Rock does his little spiel. The lights go out, and then Rock gets attacked by the Shield because he's unjust.
And after the attack, CM Punk cuts a little promo on The Rock, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah. I like it. I like the build. I like the fact that the Shield is somewhat involved with CM Punk without necessarily being directly, overtly involved with him. I like the fact that after the match, we've seen CM Punk dealing with Vince McMahon in the back, and he said if anybody cheats for you at the Royal Rumble, you'll lose your belt. That's an old school heel thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I enjoyed that they're bringing stuff like that back into the show.
I'm looking forward to the match. I really am. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, I'll let you.
Another match we had for the Beat the Clock was Sheamus.
The final
one. Sheamus versus Wade Barrett.
It was a solid, hard-hitting match. By the end, Dolph Ziggler came out to the ring basically to ensure that he was going to win. They drug it out. They didn't beat Ziggler's time, and I liked it. I liked the fact that you didn't squash Barrett, and you didn't make Sheamus, who's one of their main eventers, lose. I like the fact that neither man came out with a loss at this.
Well, they just cut the match off as soon as it was done.
Yeah, then that's, if you watch Beat the Clock, that's what they've always done.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the Ziggler thing. Then they went to the back, and Ziggler goes to Vicky, I want number 30. She said, oh no, I didn't mean it. I told you could pick your number, but you have to pick between 1 and 2. So Ziggler's going to be either the number 1 or 2 guy going into the Rumble, which is the same thing, really. It's 1 and 1A.
Yeah.
So I don't expect him to win.
No.
And then after that, we had a nice match with Alberto Del Rio versus Tensai. Tensai, they're turning him into a jobber. I like this, though, in the respects that Alberto Del Rio beat a larger man, which is what he's going to have to deal with the Big Show. He showed a lot of his offense. He showed some really good face maneuvers. He hit the moonsault, which I might be wrong on this, but this is the first time I've seen him do that in WWE.
I think so.
I mean, I could be wrong. He could have before, and I just forgot.
He won house shows or whatever. The one thing I like is, because you were talking about the figure 4 being a heel move, I always thought his armbar was a heel move. And I kind of like the way they're taking the cars away.
Yeah.
Because kind of taking the smugness of not letting him be the aristocrat that he is, but one of the common folks.
Yeah. Being the Mexican champion. The hero to the Latino community.
Well, it's cool how they, I didn't think I'd like it as him being a babyface, but it's really turned 100% around.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
I think he could be in the likes of an Eddie Guerrero. I mean, people are probably going to hate me for saying that, but I think he's a great talker. He's a great wrestler. Why would you hate on the guy for being if you can get him as good as Eddie?
There you go. And I totally agree. I love his turn. His face turn is probably the best face turn I've seen in a long while.
How about this? If Eddie had Roberto Rodriguez, how much bigger would he have been?
I mean,
I like Roberto Rodriguez. Eddie was big, but I just think just an extra little bit. You never know.
Now, speaking of a guy that made it big, a guy that made it big in the late 70s, early 80s, and then again in the mid-90s, they announced that our second Hall of Famer, Mr. Bob Backlund. If you watched our Hall of Fame, snub show, basically, he was one of the guys on our list. We cannot be happier for a guy. There is not a more deserving guy. Him and Mick Foley are two of the most deserving Hall of Famers that haven't been in there. I thoroughly like this. I don't even care who else they put in. The two that they've got so far has made me happy for this Hall.
Would you say these first two entrants are better than any of their first two entrances we ever had?
I think so.
I enjoy it. I was very excited when I saw Bob Backlund there, because we're sitting there like, oh, who's going to be now? We'll probably figure it's going to be DX or whatever, and it's Bob Backlund, and I'm like, that is so great. I feel so glad for this man, something he's deserved for well over a decade.
Yes. Now, our main event segment of the night was John Cena coming out, cutting a promo.
Fruity Pebbles.
Was kind of hokey, kind of dumb. Led to the spot that we have every year, the week of the Royal Rumble, where everybody comes out and does basically a brawl to end out the show. Cookie cutter, we knew it was coming. Wasn't good, wasn't bad. We just knew it was going to happen.
All the jobbers getting thrown out, letting big names stay in the ring.
Now, overall, what did you think of the show? What would you give it out of 5 stars?
3.
I'd stick with a 3. I think it's right middle of the road. It wasn't a great go-home show for the pay-per-view. It wasn't a horrible one either.
CM Punk and The Rock's promos, again, mostly CM Punk's.
And Bob Backlund.
And also the Cesaro Orton match. I was really happy with those 3 things, and that's where they got their 3 stars from.
Exactly. And basically, that's all I got to say. Is there anything you need to add?
That's it for me, my friend.
My name is George Coles.
Gary Rhodes.
And this has been Heel Heat.